Why is it hard to reconcile Great Zimbabwe findings with oral traditions? Imagine trying to piece together a puzzle where some pieces are clear and others are shaped by stories passed down through generations. That's what makes matching archaeological discoveries at Great Zimbabwe with oral histories so tricky. On one side, archaeology gives us physical clues: massive stone walls built without mortar, artifacts like gold ornaments, Chinese porcelain, and Persian glassware that show the site was a busy trade hub. It tells us about the size of the city, the wealth, and the craftsmanship involved. Archaeologists have dated the site from the 11th to the 17th century, revealing a long history of political power and economic activity. But oral traditions tell a different story. The Shona people, who are the descendants of those who built and used Great Zimbabwe, focus on spiritual and cultural meanings. They speak of sacred caves, ancestral spirits, and legendary rulers. These stories often emphasize the spiritual connection to the land and the divine right of kings, rather than the economic or political details uncovered by science. They also tend to highlight the site's importance in cultural identity and spiritual life, which may not match the archaeological timeline or the artifacts found. Reconciling these two sources is difficult because they serve different purposes. Archaeology relies on material remains and scientific dating methods, which give us a timeline and evidence of trade and craftsmanship. Oral traditions, however, are passed down through stories, songs, and rituals, and they often change over time. These stories can blend history with myth, making it hard to pinpoint exact dates or events. For example, stories about legendary rulers or divine origins may conflict with the archaeological evidence of when the city was built or who built it. Another challenge is that early interpretations of Great Zimbabwe were influenced by outside ideas. Some believed the site was built by outsiders or non-African peoples, which led to dismissing the local oral histories. This bias made it harder for the community's stories to be accepted as part of the true history. Over time, scholars have recognized that both the physical evidence and oral traditions are important, but they tell different parts of the story. The site's long history also adds complexity. Different layers of occupation show changes in architecture, trade, and social structure. Meanwhile, oral traditions tend to focus on specific aspects like spiritual significance or royal legitimacy, often ignoring the economic details. So, while archaeology shows us a thriving city involved in trade and metallurgy, oral stories might emphasize the spiritual or ancestral importance of the site, which can seem disconnected. In the end, both sources are pieces of a larger picture. Archaeology provides the facts about construction, trade, and time periods. Oral traditions give us the cultural and spiritual meaning behind those facts. Combining these helps us understand Great Zimbabwe as a place of both material wealth and deep cultural significance. It's not about making them fit perfectly, but appreciating how each adds to the story of this remarkable site in Africa's history.